This time, X-1 and Fibber McGee visits the eye doctor. Hello there. Victor Ives inviting you to join us for the golden age of radio theater. This is the show where we turn back the clock to relive the golden moments of radio's yesteryear and bring you the greatest radio shows of all time. Two of our most popular programs are paired up in this golden age of radio theater program. X-1, the superb science fiction program from NBC, and also from NBC, Fibber McGee and Molly. First, this story by F.L. Wallace, broadcast in 1956. It's called Student Body.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X-1.
Tonight, Student Body by F.L. Wallace. Emergency report to Central Colonial Service. Subject Planet 7G63, Glade. Reporting Dano Marin. Special assignment from Biological Control. Report consisting of standard universal tapes and special recorded comment. First segment, landing day +1. 6 a.m. sidereal mean time. Voices on tape, myself, Colonial Executive Shep Hafner, and Athel, a female member of our crew. Tape commencing.
Watch your step on the ramp, Marin. It's tilted.
Oh, yes, I will. All right, where are these people?
Over there, a few hundred feet. Beneath that tree.
Oh, come on, then.
You know, I'm going to have to note on the log that you cleared the planet for colonization as of last night.
I understand. I'm taping this now for my records. I take full responsibility for the safety of this planet.
All right. But wait until you see this. Here we are. Now, do you see there? In the clearing beneath that tree?
What? Good Lord, they haven't a stitch of clothes on. None of them.
That's just what I told you.
Are they all right?
No, they're just asleep. You can see them breathing.
Look here, Hafner. Who gave them permission to sleep out here in the open?
Don't wake them yet. I gave them permission, Marin. They've been cooped up in that ship for over 6 months. They wanted to sleep outside. And in view of your clearance, I couldn't see any reason to refuse permission.
I know. You were within your rights. But the clothing, why, they don't even have blankets.
They did have, when they bedded down last night. Some of them even used the standard issue sleeping bag.
Well, then what happened to them? There are 13 people sleeping around that tree, and they're stark naked, all of them.
Last night you told me there was nothing dangerous on Glade. Do you still think so?
I know so. I have a complete biological survey.
Does your survey account for anything like this?
You know it doesn't.
That's what I thought. Okay. Now you've seen it for yourself. Let's wake them up and get them back to the ship.
No, wait. You better wake them one at a time. This will be embarrassing enough for them as it is.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I will wake the nearest one first. That's Athel, our lab technician.
Yeah, well, here, take my jacket. Cover her with it before you wake her.
All right. Wake up, Athel. All right, Athel, wake up. It's Executive Hafner.
What? Oh, what is it?
I'm sorry, Ethel. Something has happened.
Oh, my clothes. My blanket, everything's gone.
Now, be careful. Don't wake the others.
Oh, yes, the others. Why, good heavens, they're all right.
Ethel, just go back to your cabin on the ship. Everything is all right. We'll explain it to you when we have the others safely back.
Well, I feel so foolish. How could this happen? What's the meaning of it?
Now, just get back to the ship. Your clothes back there are perfectly safe.
Yes, it's all right. Well, thank you.
You told her we'd explain it later, Hafner. Do you think we can?
That's your job, isn't it?
This planet is as new to me as it is to you.
You're the biologist. What destroyed their clothing?
It would have to be something that could destroy both blankets and clothing without waking the people.
Nocturnal insects?
Ordinarily, I'd say that was a distinct possibility if it weren't for the fact that our surveys show no evidence whatsoever of any such insects on Glade.
Your survey could have missed them, couldn't it?
Not if they existed in any great quantity. Besides, if insects were the answer, there should be some kind of evidence of them right here in the area where Ethel was lying. Certainly one or two of them would be crushed when she rolled over in her sleep.
Oh, that sounds reasonable.
Now, look for yourself. There's absolutely no sign of anything at all here.
Well, what about some chemicals, some vapor oozing from the ground?
No chance at all. I'd rule that out completely.
Then what?
Well, there's the tree itself. I suppose it could exude some sort of a chemical that might dissolve cloth, but I can check that in the lab.
Well, we'd better arouse the rest of these people and get them back to the ship.
Hey, wait.
What? What is it?
Why, it's some kind of an animal. Just caught a glimpse through there. Ah, there he is. Yeah, you see behind that bush?
Yeah. It looks almost like a chipmunk.
Yes, and he's feeding on something. Why, it looks like a piece of cloth.
Marin, do you think that...
That's near us. I'll just ease up to him now. Closer. Now.
You got it.
Oh, well, hey, you little devil.
Watch out, Marin. He's got sharp teeth.
You're telling me. Yeah, easy there, boy. Easy. Like to have your head stroked? Sure you do. That's the boy.
He's calming down.
Yes, look at that. Oh, he's nestling in the crook of my arm, almost like a kitten.
Almost. Marin, I hope you don't mind short sleeves.
Now, what do you mean?
He's already eaten half the sleeve off your shirt. I think we found the answer to our problem.
From July 31st, 1956, the Golden Age of Radio Theater is presenting X-1. Now we'll return to X-1.
The animal was a small, furry mammal resembling an Earth-type rodent. Its overall length is 14 centimeters, weight 512 grams. Fur stringy and sparse, color a light beige, indicating no particular protective coloring. The animal was placed in a special cage in a biological laboratory aboard ship for further study. Next tape, landing date +2.
Can we exterminate it?
Ah, it's quite a job.
How about locally?
Hardly. It's ecologically basic.
Look, Marin, you're from biological control. I've just got an executive's rating.
Well, look, you know how control works. They send a survey ship over and record the neural currents of the animals. They get everything that has a brain, including insects, and they take a few specimens to check the patterns. Now, here's the report on Glade. The survey shows that this animal is one of only 4 species of mammals on the planet. It is also the most numerous.
So if we kill them off here, others will swarm in from other areas.
Yes, that's about it. There's probably millions of them around this planet. Of course, if you want to put a barrier across the connection to the mainland, you might be able to wipe them out locally.
Look, Marin, I've got a tight schedule. I can't spare dirt-moving equipment for that. By the way, what do they eat?
Well, as far as I can see, anything. Insects, fruit, berries. You could call it an omnivora. Now that our clothing is handy, it eats that, too.
I thought our clothing was supposed to be vermin-proof.
It is on 27 planets. On the 28th, we met up with a little fella that has better digestive fluids, that's all. Right. He's eating a leather belt right now.
Yeah. Are they likely to bother the crops we plant?
They shouldn't, but then I would have said the same thing about our clothing.
All right, Marin, you worry about the crops. Find some way to keep them out of the field. Meanwhile, everyone sleeps inside the ship until we can build dormitories.
Biological examination of omnivora posed this question. Why only 4 species of mammals on Glade? No reptiles and only a few birds. On all comparable planets, a large variety of species. Nearest Earth parallel, fossil remains from the late Carboniferous show creatures like the omnivora, but on Glade there appears to be no further evolution. Next tape segment, L plus 22, place, temporary warehouse, Quartermaster Crone, and myself.
There you are, Mr. Marin. They got in every seat, sack, and barrel in this part of the warehouse.
Well, what makes you think it's mice?
Look, I've worked in grain elevators for 30 years in Kansas. Look the way that sack is gnawed. And look over there. Dropping.
Well, it's not exactly...
I know, so they're mice-like. I want to know how to get rid of them.
Have you tried poison?
You tell me what poison to use, and I'll use it. They got into a 100-pound sack of arsenic and went through it like it was whipped cream.
Well, how did they get in? It's a fused dirt floor, isn't it?
It should be pest-tight. But see, there are cracks along here. They must have burrowed through. They were loose in here, and we don't have time to build another warehouse. They've got to be controlled here.
Well, catch me a few of them alive, and I'll see what I can do. Next morning, a dozen live specimens of mice-like mammals were delivered to the lab. No 2 of them were affected by the same poison, and the poison developed to control the omnivora was completely ineffective. Alternate plan discussed with Executive Hafner and Machinist Tully of Computer Engineering. Next tape, L plus 24. Hafner, Tully, and myself.
I tried it out yesterday, Mr. Hafner. I think I've got all the bugs licked now.
Tully, I don't want any more metal used than is necessary. This isn't standard authorized equipment.
You're not dealing with a standard authorized problem.
Are you ready to activate the device?
Sure thing. Here, help me get it down from this assembly bench down on the floor.
All right.
There you go, Kitty. Now, what do you think of her? A robot cat.
Well, I still think we need at least 3 of them.
Mr. Marin, inventory on colonial expeditions is always short. One will have to do. All right, Tully. Show us how this mechanical mouse catcher operates.
You better get out of the way, Mr. Marin. If you've touched any of the mice in the lab, she'll go for you. She reacts to smell as well as sight and sound.
All right, Tully, start it up.
All right, Kitty, go ahead and have a good time.
Oh, she moves like a cat.
You know, I wouldn't bet a plug nickel on any mouse in the same warehouse with that baby.
Robot cat device proved relatively successful in Warehouse 1. Rodent damage held below danger margin. Next tape, L plus 37. Tully, Hafner, and myself.
I can't salvage it, Mr. Hafner. Just look at that. That skeleton was chrome steel, now it's bent. The skin was duroplastic, and now it's cut to ribbon. The computer parts are all smashed to bits.
How do you account for it, Tully?
Well, look around the poor thing. You had me build it for mice. These things weren't mice. They're a good foot long. They just outnumbered him, that's all.
You examined these dead animals, Marin?
Not closely.
Well, you'll find your mice have grown. They ganged up on that cat.
There aren't supposed to be any rats on Glade, are there?
Well, there weren't supposed to be any mice either. What are you going to do?
We'll have to build another warehouse. 2-foot-thick fused floors.
Wait a minute, Mr. Hafner. To do that, we'll have to stop all other construction. The atomic generator...
Why not build more robot cats?
You weren't here when we opened the doors, Marin. The warehouse was swarming with rats. Tully, how many robot cats would we need? 5? 15?
We don't have enough parts to build more than 3.
If we need more than that, we'll have to rob the computer in the spaceship. And that's one thing I refuse to do. The spaceship is our only link with Earth until the next wave in 2 years. All right, then I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll floodlight the supplies at night. We'll post a guard with half-charged rifles until we can move to the new warehouse. That'll take about 10 days. Meanwhile, our fast crops are ripening. It's my guess that the rats will turn to that for food. Now, in order to protect our future food supplies, you'll have to activate your cold storage animals, Marin.
Mr. Hafner, it's against regulations to release any cold storage animals on a planet until after a complete investigation.
That takes 10 to 20 years. This is an emergency.
I don't want to be responsible for another rabbit-infested Australia or that planet in the Centauri system that the snails took over.
Marin, I'll take the responsibility. You're recording now, aren't you?
Yes?
All right. If that isn't authorization enough, I'll put it in writing.
Well, the beast I've got for this job won't be any good against rats this size.
You've got hormones. Use them.
Dead rats were gathered and frozen for further study. Observed animals, a wide variation in size. Internally, a lack of uniformity in organs. Some specimens had huge fangs and delicate jaws. Others had tiny teeth and massive bone structure. Obviously, the most scrambled species ever encountered by a biologist. Reproductive cells were especially battling, proceeding with hormone treatment on cold storage Earth animals. Next tape, L plus 39. Lab technician, Atheel, and myself.
First one is coming out of it, Mr. Marin.
Yes, that makes 85% viability. That's not bad. All right, fella, now take it easy,
Oh, he's a cute little fella.
But he's tough. That's a wire-haired terrier. They're small, but they've been used for ratters since the Middle Ages.
You think he's nearly ready for the hormone course?
I think so. All right, first pituitary injection.
Ready. All right, now, this is going to hurt just a little fella.
Oh. Yeah, it's a dirty trick, isn't it, jabbing you with a needle when you're fresh out of the deep freeze? But don't you worry, fella. You'll be glad you had it. You'll stand a better chance against those rats when we work you up to about a Great Dane size. L plus 50, artificially enlarged terriers loosed in the fields of the fast crops. Following tape, field observation of terriers. Executor Hafner and myself.
How long have they been at it, Marin?
Oh, since daybreak. I have to bring the dogs in at night and shoot them full of antibiotics.
Will the dogs last?
Well, this crop will be harvested in about a week. We'll make that. And there'll be 2 weeks to rest up before the next fast crop shows above ground. I think we've got the rats licked for a while.
Well, when you get a chance, you might ask some of those PhDs in Central how they happened to hand us a survey and forgot to give us a few details like mice and rats.
I've been checking on that, Mr. Hafner. I don't think there's any doubt. When that survey was made before we landed, there weren't any mice and rats on Glade.
Then where did they come from? How did they get here?
I don't know. But we're going to have to find out. Research project on pseudo-mice and pseudo-rats interrupted by field trip with Biological Survey Officer Whitehead. Tape L plus 63 in field geological survey vehicle. Whitehead and myself.
You think you got trouble? Can you read a sonar map?
No.
Here, look. See this scope? It reads straight down about 10 miles. I'm supposed to be out looking for oil shale, but I got kind of interested in this. Look. First few feet down, you can find fossils. After the first few feet, that's about 20,000 years, there are no fossils until you get way down here. That's about the same as late Carboniferous on Earth. Then you get the fossils again. It doesn't figure.
But isn't that usual? Changes in geological eras?
You don't get it, man. I'm not talking about eras. I'm talking about years. Straight down from here, 20,000 years ago, this was a desert. And then 3 years later, it was a jungle. 5 years after that, there was a glacier. Earth normal would be 50,000 years or more for a change like that.
What caused it?
You've got me. Fluctuations in the sun, I don't know, but talk about changeable weather. This planet really has it.
X-1 is presenting The Student Body by F.L. Wallace. We'll return in just a moment. Now, back to our story.
Based on accumulated data, theory developed regarding mammalian life on planet Glade. Tape L plus 65. Place temporary headquarters of Executive Hafner.
Marin, I've got a lot of work to clear up this morning.
I thought you might like to know where the mice came from.
They don't bother us anymore.
I've also determined the origin of the rats.
They're under control.
I wonder if they are, Mr. Hafner.
What do you mean?
Mr. Hafner, I checked this with Whitehead. Between 100 million years and 20,000 years ago, this planet was changing violently and quickly. The first change wiped out the dinosaur just the way it did on Earth. But it kept on changing. Desert, glacier, jungle, and all this within the lifespan of a single animal. For 1 million years, this was the norm of existence on Glade.
I've checked Geological Survey. The planet is stable now.
Well, that's not what I'm getting at. The point is, survival was difficult. Only one species of mammals managed to come through.
Now, wait a minute, Marin. There are 4 species, ranging in size from a squirrel to a water buffalo.
One species. They're the same. If the food supply for the largest animal increases, some of the smaller so-called species just grow up. Conversely, if the food becomes scarce in any category, the next generation, which apparently can be produced almost instantly, switches to a form which does have an adequate food supply.
The mice?
The mice weren't here when we got here. They were born of the squirrel-sized omnivora.
And the rats?
Born of the next larger size. After all, we are environment, too, and they adapt to environment.
Let me get this straight. The mutation...
On Earth, it would be mutation. Here, it's merely normal evolution. These animals have no genes or chromosomes. I don't know how they pass down heredity, but they react to external conditions far faster than anything we've ever encountered.
Then we'll never be free from pests unless, of course, we rid the planet of all animal life.
Yeah, you mean with radioactive dust? That won't work. They've survived worse.
Well, maybe we could leave the planet. Leave it to the animals. I could exercise authority under Clause 364.
It's too late for that.
What do you mean?
We sent back the specimen ship. The animals are on Earth, too.
But those specimens were in cages.
Yes, but the next generation would be small enough to get out through the bars. They'll be running free in the cargoes of the spaceships. They'll land on Earth, and the first thing you know, a new mutation of rats will appear. They won't have any reason to connect it with the specimens from Glade.
They won't be able to vermin-proof every building on Earth.
No, we've got to stay here. We've got to study the animals here and find out how to beat them. If we can. Next tape, L plus 83. Place, Field Outpost. Quartermaster Crone, Hafner, and myself.
I saw it, Mr. Hafner. I saw it. Are you sure? You see that tree? No, the big one. The white flower? That's the one. I saw it behind there.
Can you describe it?
Well, I didn't get a good... That's it. That's what I heard. It sounds like a tiger. I've heard them like that in India. You watch. Right by that tree. Hey, look out. It's heading this way. Give me that rifle. Hurry up. Shoot. Shoot! Try again. I've got it. Come on, let's take a look.
Now look out. It might be still alive.
No, I hit it square with that second charge. What in the devil is it? It's a good 8 feet long. What do you make of it, Marin?
Well, except for the lack of markings, it closely resembles a tiger.
Look at those claws. We chase the rats out of the warehouse, they go to the fields. We hunt them down in the fields with dogs, and they breed tigers.
Well, that's easier than rats. We can shoot tigers.
Wait a minute. We've been here less than 3 months, Marin. The dogs have been in the fields only 2. And that tiger's mature. How do you account for that?
I'm not sure, Mr. Hafner, but I imagine if the survival factor is high, the young don't ever have to be young.
What?
They can be born as fully functioning adults. Development report. Mice under control. Field rats under control by terriers. Tiger-like animals under control with searchlight and rifle. Additional complication. The original animal developed an appetite for electrical insulation. There is no protection except to keep the power on at all times. The last tiger-like animal was seen at L plus 130. After that, the attack ceased. By L plus 2 years, the animal seemed to have been controlled in all its forms. However, 3 months before the next colonists would do, a new animal was detected. Food was missing from the fields. Dogs were useless. The animal seemed to roam the fields, and the dogs did not attack. Patrols were unable to find the animal. Tape L plus 2 years. Hafner, Engineer Tully, and myself.
Now, here's the way I'm rigging it up, Mr. Hafner. Whatever it is, it spotted the photoelectric cell rig. So I've worked up an alarm that reacts to body radiation.
You're sure the animal won't spot that?
Well, I'm burying it in the field. Then we'll move the visible alarms to another field.
All right, Tully. As soon as the alarm goes off, notify Mr. Marin and me. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Just as soon as the alarm goes off.
L2 plus 15. Radiation alarm sounded. Place, field station, Hafner, and myself.
Look out where you're walking, Marin. We don't want to scare it away.
Well, there are dogs in that field, aren't there?
Well, they were supposed to be, but they didn't bark. Quiet.
There it is. See? Huh? It's in between the rows.
Look out. Look out. Give me a clear shot.
No, wait a minute. Don't shoot.
Look, Marin, I'm the executive here. I say it's dangerous.
Dangerous? That's why you can't shoot. It's more dangerous than you know.
Quiet. It'll hear you.
We're downwind. Now, listen, Hafner. This is important.
I don't want any lecture now, Marin. I don't want to lose the shot.
You've got to listen. That animal could evolve mice. We stopped mice and it brought rats. We turned back the rat and provided the tiger.
All right, we stopped the tiger.
Not really. There was another animal being formed. The one that's in that field now. It took the animal 2 years to create it. How, I don't know. 1 million years were required to evolve it on Earth.
He's moving away. Marin, I'm going to shoot.
Don't shoot. We can't destroy the animal. It's on the Earth now and on other planets. We've never even been able to get rid of our own rats. How can we exterminate this animal?
All the more reason to start now. Get down and give me a clear shot.
Listen. Are their rats better than ours? Will their beasts win or ours be stronger? Oh, the two make peace, unite, and interbreed. It's not impossible. This animal could do it if interbreeding had a high survival factor. Don't you see, after the tiger, they bred this thing. If we shoot it down, what will come next? Look at it, standing erect. Opposable thumbs, binocular vision, a large brain capacity. This one I think we can compete with. It's the one after this that I don't want to face.
Marin, it must hear us. It's looking this way.
Look at it, Hafner. He's holding his hands up to show us he's got no weapon. Drop your rifle.
Are you sure?
Drop your rifle. He's coming this way.
He's got one of those white blossoms in his hand.
Yes. Must be a sign of peace.
What? It looks almost like a man. I wonder what's inside that body.
I wonder what's inside that head.
From July 31st, 1956, we've presented X-1 on the golden age of radio theater. Coming up, Fibber McGee and Molly. At the end of our show this time, we're going to talk about Death Valley Days. Not the TV version with President Reagan, the radio version. Now we continue with Fibber McGee and Molly on the golden age of radio theater from 1941. In this episode, Fibber visits the eye doctor.
Fibber McGee and Molly. Fibber McGee and Molly, with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryan, Dick LeGrand, and me, Harlow Wilcox. Well, there's been quite an argument going on this last week at 79 Wistful Vista. Mrs. McGee says her husband should go see an oculist. Mr. McGee says he'll do no such thing.
Oh.
So, here sitting in the office of Wistful Vista's leading oculist, we find Fibber McGee and Molly.
Oh, now stop your fidgeting, McGee. The doctor will see you in just a few minutes.
I don't care if he never sees me. This whole idea is silly. I don't need glasses.
Oh, you don't?
No.
I suppose you were just kidding this morning when you yelled, "Hey, I found a quarter." And then you picked up the manhole cover.
Well, shucks. There's nothing really wrong with my eyes at all. I just strained them a little looking for that comet, that's all.
Well, I'm glad to hear you even admit that. Heavenly days, it's no disgrace to wear glasses.
Oh, you just say that on account of Uncle Dennis.
He doesn't wear glasses.
Oh, no? He's worn out most of ours one way and another.
Well, you'll admit he carries it like a gentleman.
Yeah. He even hiccups with a Harvard accent. Look, Molly, you know very well my eye strain is just a temporary condition. I don't...
Right, Doc. Sure is a load off my mind.
Oh, hello there, old-timer. Been getting your eyes examined?
Yep. As the chemist says, when the dye factory blew up, I come out with flying colors.
Well, what did the doctor tell you?
Oh, he says I didn't have a thing to worry about, Dollar. Says I'll be reading newspapers without glasses when I'm 95.
Oh, that's swell, old-timer. I'm glad to hear it. What's the matter with your eyes?
Got a twitch in one of them, Johnny.
Oh. Nervous?
Not till I had my face slapped the third time.
They thought you were a masher, eh? Well, as I always says, old-timer, the trouble with flirting is that you're generally flirting with trouble.
That's pretty good, Johnny. But that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, which was t'other day while I was sitting in a little booth getting my pants pressed because the garden needed some rain. It always rains when I get my pants pressed, which is why they don't have any women in the Weather Bureau.
Yeah, but the way you heard it...
Oh, yeah. One feller says to t'other feller... Hey, says... I see where a young college feller pole vaulted more than 15 feet to a new world's record last Saturday. Ain't that wonderful? Yeah, says t'other feller, but he never could have done it without that big stick. Well, I guess the doctor will be seeing you in a minute, kid.
Well, thanks, Mr. Oldtimer. You say he thought your eyes were all right, huh?
Yep. Says I'll be reading newspapers without glasses when I'm 95.
Ooh.
On one condition.
What's the condition?
Gotta learn to read. So long, kid.
I wonder how old he is, McGee.
Search me, but I'd swear he wears a TP.
No. No. You mean a frappe.
I do not. A frappe is a small sedan.
Go on, that's a coupe.
Well, then what's a TP?
A TP is a wigwam.
That's what I've been trying to say. To keep his wigwam, he has to wear a TP.
Oh, dear. That joke was old when radio was just a funny noise from Schenectady. Oh, I wish that doctor'd hurry.
No, we're not in any hurry. Besides, that other guy's ahead of us.
Who?
That guy standing over there in the corner. Hey, take your hat off, mister. There's a lady present.
McGee, that's a hat rack.
Huh? Oh. Well, I just...
All right, Mr. McGee, you're next, I believe. Will you step in here, please?
Okay, Doc.
You may come, too, if you wish, Mrs. McGee.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Now, you understand, I'm just doing this to humor my wife, Doc. My eyes are as good as they ever were.
We'll see. We'll just give you a preliminary examination, Mr. McGee. Yes. There's nothing to worry about.
Who's worrying?
I am.
What about?
Oh, nothing in particular. I just worry. Gives me that busy professional frown, you know. Very valuable. Impresses people. Yes. Now, first, Mr. McGee, I want you to read the chart for me.
XKMZOPLBW.
Isn't that wonderful, Doctor?
It certainly is. Now, I'll put up the chart and see if he can do it. Now then, Mr. McGee, read the top line.
The top line from the bottom?
Quit stalling, McGee. Read the chart.
Well, he cheated. That ain't the chart I'm familiar with.
Look, Mr. McGee, I'm afraid I'll have to relax the muscles of your eyes before I can examine them properly. They're a bit strange, you know.
Oh, well, how will you do that, Doctor?
We'll put drops in them.
Oh.
It relaxes the muscles and enlarges the pupil.
Oh, yeah.
His vision will be blurred for a few hours, and then I want him to come back. Say in about 3 hours. Yes.
Oh, no, wait a minute, Doctor.
No.
Oh, sir, I don't want
Now,
to...
McGee.
Huh?
Who knows best, you or the doctor? You don't either. Go ahead, Doctor.
Very well. Open your eyes wide, McGee. Not your mouth, your eyes. That's it. Yes. 1, 2, there. Now, that wasn't so bad, was it?
No.
Oh, I guess I'll live through it. I ain't scared.
Well, then what are you trembling?
I'm not trembling.
The doctor ought to know, dearie. You're holding his hand.
Huh? Oh. I thought that was yours, Molly. Excuse me, Doc.
That's all right. I'll have the circulation back in that hand in no time. Well, that's all for now, Mr. McGee. Remember, back here in 3 hours. Yes.
Well, now, what'll we do in the meantime?
We might go sit in a movie.
Don't be silly. You couldn't see the picture and the dialogue wouldn't make sense.
Oh, that's all right, Mrs. McGee. Who is he to criticize senseless dialogue, eh? Don't you worry about your eyes, Mr. McGee. There may be nothing at all wrong, you know. Nothing at all.
Oh, I'm not worried, Doc. All us McGees have had good eyes, particularly the men in the family. Why, even when I was a tiny baby, people used to say, can you imagine such beautiful eyes in a mug like that? Eyes of Mug and McGee, I was known as in them days. Ives of McGee, a magnificent masculine mess of muscle and mental magnitude, mentioned in Milady's monthly magazines as the mighty male who managed to mesmerize most of the merry minxes of Monte Carlo, and the majority of Marcel's maidens of Manhattan, and many of the magnetic misses of Mississippi, Missouri, Michigan, Montana, Minneapolis, Minnesota. A merry mass of manhood with a touch of Irish up, but let's get going, Molly, or I'll believe this stuff myself. This was a swell idea of yours, Molly, stopping in here for a bite to eat instead of sitting in the park.
How are your eyes, dearie? Is the medicine wearing off?
Oh, sure, I can see better now than I... Whoops!
What's the matter?
I guess I'm kind of clumsy today. I dropped the top off the ketchup bottle and into the sugar bowl.
That was an olive, and you dropped it in the cream pitcher, and there's no ketchup on the table. Heavenly days, it's a good thing I'm with you, or goodness knows what. Uh-oh. McGee.
Huh?
There's Mrs. Uppington over at that table behind the post.
What's the old war horse eating? A bale of hay all glutton?
Let me see. No, she's polishing off a big piece of chocolate chiffon pie.
Her and her
And
diet.
the next time she tries to tell me about living on Melba toast and skim milk, I'll... Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Uppington? Imagine meeting you here.
Oh, how do you do, my dear? Good day, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Uppy.
Mrs. Uppington is over there, dearie. I'm Mrs. McGee.
Oh.
You're looking very well for yourself, Abigail, old girl.
Thank you, my dear. Though I must do something about my weight. I'm simply gaining ounces, you know.
Oh, cut it out, Uppy, cut it out. You got a wonderful figure, Uppy. In fact, I never seen you look handsomer than you do today. You ain't fat. You're just chubby in a cute way.
Oh, flatterer.
Besides, whatever you do gain, little Abigail. I always said what this country needs is less hustle and more bustle.
And that's a mighty ducky little chapeau you're sporting today, too, Uppy.
Mr. McGee, I am not wearing a hat.
Huh? Oh, I thought that was an airplane. Well, you're always so far ahead of the styles, I thought you had on one of them new off-of-the-head hats.
Oh, now you say such sweet things, Miss McGee.
I have a tough time doing it, though.
But it is sweet, and my head is easily turned, you know.
Well, that's because your neck is so skinny, Abigail.
You know, Molly Uppy seems to have took on an entirely new personality lately.
You think
Looking
so?
at her right now, she kind of vibrates. She just glows. There's a kind of a radiance about her.
Oh, no, Mr. McGee, you silly boy. You never talked to me like that before.
Of course he didn't. He never had an oculist put drops in his eyes before either.
Oh, you poor boy. Now, doesn't it make everything look horribly distorted?
Yes.
Oh, you mean all those nice things you... Well, I have never been so insulted. Goodbye, you squirt.
Molly, did I say something wrong?
No. But I don't think that was government-inspected bologna you were dishing out. Come on, McGee, let's go.
Okay, you paid the check?
Yes, I did. Can I help you with your coat, dearie?
No, thanks. I got it.
You got it all right. You got it inside out.
Huh? Oh.
Here, let me. McGee, this isn't your coat.
Huh? It isn't? Well, where is mine? I put it right on that rack there.
Oh, dear. Somebody must have taken yours by mistake and left this one.
Huh?
Look, here's the owner's name on the inside of the pocket. Wallace Wimple.
Wallace Wimple, eh? Well, whoever he is, he's got a lot of moxie swiping my coat. Wait till I get my hands on that guy. He'll wish he'd never picked on...
Hello there, folks. What's the matter?
Hi, Gildersleeve.
No, it isn't Mr. Gildersleeve, dearie. That's Mr. Wilcox.
Oh.
He's being examined for glasses, Mr. Wilcox, and he's got drops in his eyes.
Hey, Harlow, somebody swiped my overcoat and left this one instead.
Well, you're lucky. That's a good-looking coat.
Well, now, we'll have to find the owner. Do you know a Mr. Wallace Wimple, Mr. Wilcox?
Wimple. Not Wallace Wimple.
Yeah, you know him?
Me know Wallace Wimple?
Oh, boy, what luck.
Why, say, I've never known anybody by the name of Wallace Wimple. Isn't that amazing?
Why, it's unbelievable.
Wilcox is your real name, O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan? No, why?
Oh, I just wondered. You can find more heels to drag a sales talk in by than anybody.
Don't say that, pal. You're not a heel. You're a very nice little guy. course, you're not too bright, and you talk too much, but outside of that...
McGee, stop swinging at Mr. Wilcox. Wait till you can see better.
Oh, that's okay, Molly. He was just kidding.
Yeah.
And so was I. We can't spoil our 6th anniversary together by fighting. Look, Fibber, why don't you keep this coat and just call it good luck?
Because I'm too honest and it don't fit. Come on, Molly, we gotta go find Wimple. Oh, why didn't somebody tell me my shirt tail was sticking out?
Oh,
but
look
Fibber,
out, Jerry. Look out.
Who threw that? What the?
We tried to tell you that wasn't your shirt tail. That was the tablecloth.
Oh, sure.
From April 15th, 1941, the Golden Age of Radio Theater is presenting Fibber McGee and Molly. Now back to Jim and Marion Jordan as Fibber McGee and Molly.
Oh, I wish we knew who this Wallace Wimple was. Did you ask the manager of the gas company?
Yes, and the light company and the water company.
Maybe we should hire a private detective.
I'm going to do something. I wish my eyes would clear up. As it is, I wouldn't know this Wallace Wimple if I saw him. Ouch, that ratted, Bud. What's the idea of jabbing me with that cigar? Who do you think you are to...
now, McGee.
I'll teach him to stand around in front of cigar stores and bump into people. I got a good notion to slap you down, Bud. What do you think of that? Well, ain't you got anything to say?
Indians don't talk much, McGee.
Is he an Indian?
Yes, and a wooden one at that.
Huh? Oh. Excuse me, Chief. I guess I was off the reservation.
Hi, mister.
Oh, hi there, little girl. I can't see you very good, but I recognize your voice. I got some stuff in my eyes, and I don't see very well for a while yet.
Why?
Well, they do that so they can examine your eyes better.
What's the matter with him, mister? You got astigmatism?
Got what, sis?
Astigmatism.
Shucks, sis. We could have had a cute routine if you'd only mispronounced that.
I know it, but it would have been kind of corny, I bet you.
Well, maybe it would. And seeing that this is our 6th anniversary, maybe we better go easy on the corn.
On the what?
Corn.
I'm hungry.
What's the matter with you, sis? You a food hoarder? You save it for a friend?
No, but I gotta feed my puppy and my kitty and a turtle. And last Sunday my papa gave me Easter bunny.
Oh, he did, huh?
I
says he did, huh?
He did what?
Your father gave you an Easter bunny.
Gee, did he?
That rabbit, you said he did.
I know it.
Well, then what... Now, look, sis. Did you ever hear of a guy named Wallace Wimple?
Sure.
When?
Just now. Why, Dad?
Because I gotta find him, that's why. And say, by the way, if you ever hear of anyone named Wallace Wimple, come and tell me, will you? And I'll give you a nickel.
It's worth 10 cents, I bet you.
Oh. Okay, 10 cents.
You mean you'll give me 10 cents if I tell you how to find him? Do you? Please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Give me the dime.
You know how I can find him?
Sure I do, I bet.
Oh, boy. Okay, here's 10 cents. What do I do?
Look in the telephone book. Go on, mister.
I never thought of that. Hey, Molly, lead me to the nearest phone booth, will you?
All right, dearie. I don't know how we overlooked such an obvious idea.
Well, sometimes the things right under your nose are the hardest to see. As the high school kid says when he tries to raise a mustache. Hey, Molly.
What?
Does drops in your eyes affect your other muscles? I'm developing an awful limp.
Oh, it isn't serious, dearie. You're walking with one foot in the gutter.
Let's get down to Kramer's drugstore and see if we can...
Well. Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, Fibber.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Is that you, Throcky?
Well, what's the matter with you, little chum? What are they leading you around for?
Oh, don't drip so much, you big drip. You make me sick with all
McGee's been to the oculist, Mr. Gildersleeve, and he's got drops in his eyes.
Not that it bothers me at the moment, Gildersleeve. You always did look like a big blur to me anyway.
Is that so?
Yes, that's
Why, you astigmatic little biological error. For 2 cents, I'd pop you one right on that little receding chin of yours. And if you hadn't got 2 cents, you can open an account with me.
Drops in the eyes or no drops in the eyes, Gildersleeve, I could handle you with one hand tied behind me and juggling 3 Japanese with my feet.
You couldn't juggle the accounts in a piggy bank, you little vacuum.
Gildersleeve?
Oh, here. For goodness sakes, boys, stop it.
Oh.
Don't you realize this is our 6th anniversary?
Well,
Let's all be friends at least for one day.
well, all right. For one day.
One day it is, Gildersleeve. But what are you doing tomorrow?
Nothing.
Okay. Suppose I meet you in back of the firehouse and slap a few of your cheap gold fillings down your noisy apparatus.
You're a hard man, McGee. But by George!
Hey, Frocky,
What is it, chum?
you know a guy named Wallace Wimple?
Wallace Wimple. Wallace Wimple. Oh, Wallace Wimple. Why, certainly.
Oh, huh.
An old college chum of mine.
Oh.
Yes. He used to sleep in the next seat of me in chapel.
For goodness sakes, well, where does he live, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Wait a minute. I have it right down here in my address book. Wimple. W. Here's Wilma.
Wilma, huh?
Wilma's a horse. She's running in the Derby this year. W. Ah, here it is. Wally Wimple. 1345 Oak Street. And when you see him, McGee...
Okay. Taxi!
Okay, Molly, let's go.
Come on, McGee. Come on, get in quick. No, in the back seat, dearie.
Oh.
That's it. Thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Now, wait a minute, folks. What's this all about? I might be...
Oh, go tat a tip at you, big mug. I'll see you tomorrow behind the firehouse.
Oh!
1345 Oak Street, driver, and step on it now. Step on it.
Come on, Molly. Here we are.
Watch the step, dearie. Here, take hold of my hand.
Now, you let me handle this, Molly. This guy may be a professional crook, and I might have to get tough with him.
Well, what if he's a big bruiser?
Well,
Yes.
Hi, Bud. You Wallace Wimple?
Yes, I am.
Is he a big guy, Molly?
No, he's just a little guy, McGee.
Yes, eh? Now, you look here, Wimple. You got a lot of nerve swiping my coat out of that restaurant. I got a notion to kick you around and teach you respect for other people's property.
What?
What's the idea of taking my coat?
Well, bless my soul, I didn't even know I had taken the wrong one.
Well, is this your coat, Mr. Wimple?
Oh, it certainly is, and thank you so much for returning it.
Is that all you got to say, Wimple? Ain't you going to apologize?
Yes, I certainly am. It was a very ridiculous mistake. But at the time, I couldn't tell one coat from another.
Well, why not?
Well, I went to an oculist this morning, and he put some drops in my eyes. Isn't that silly?
This is the golden age of radio theater. A listener from Alaska writes about Death Valley days. I'll be back to answer the question in just a moment. A listener from Alaska wants to know, was Death Valley days ever on radio? Yes, it was. As a matter of fact, it was one of radio's longest-running adventure shows and dates back to 1930. The writer of the series, Ruth Cornwall Woodman, before she had the assignment, knew very little of the Old West, especially the deserts of the Old West. She was the wife of a New York banker. But when she got the job of writing Death Valley Days, spent several weeks a year visiting ghost towns, talking to old-timers and desert rats, digging up true stories on which the scripts of Death Valley Days were based. The stories were told by a character named the Old Ranger. The sponsor, 20 Mule Team Baraxo, dropped the show after 15 years in 1945. It later resurfaced on television. One of the more famous hosts of the TV version was President Ronald Reagan. This is Victor Ives speaking, thanking you for being with us and inviting you to join us next time. We turn back the clock to relive the golden moments of radio's yesteryear and bring you the greatest radio shows of all time on the golden age of radio theater.
copy of today's program, call 1-800-326-0296 and refer to show number 17. That number again is 1-800-326-0296. And remember to refer to show number 17.